Hello everyone. Today we will discuss absolute, relative and mixed referencing. So the concept of this we will discuss in Excel. So Excel actually is a very good software which helps us to source data in terms of their original location. So the location which we say as per the data value is called its reference. For example, for this particular thing the reference is B3. So that means that this value 8 is written in the B3. So the good thing about referencing is that Excel actually helps us to bring those values on the basis of their address. So referencing can be understood as the address of a particular value in that particular sheet. So a simple example of referencing can be if you put equal and you put this value. So once you do this, it will source the value which is written in that particular B2 column, and this type of thing which is called as equal to B2 is called as referencing. I am not copying the value, but I am referencing it. The best advantage of referencing is that once you do a change in the original part, it is also reflected in the destination part. So referencing actually helps us to create dynamic Excel sheets where any change made in the source part is also reflected in the destination part. Otherwise, if you have a very large Excel sheet and you do copy and pasting of the things in the values form, it will actually help make your task very tedious, because every time you make any change in the original sheet, you will always have to remember that you have to copy those values to the final sheet. But if you create your final sheet on the basis of referencing, any change made in the original sheet will be reflected into the final sheet automatically. So this is a very good magic of Excel, which helps us to reduce our burden of remembering and doing copying and pasting again and again. So once you do referencing, it will make your task much easier. So the referencing can be applicable not only to source data, but also in application of various formulas, copying of sheets, copying of data, sourcing of data, and many other functions. So today we will understand what exactly absolute, relative and mixed referencing is. So when we do, suppose for this particular example, we have a sheet like this, we have a data like this, and we want to do understand referencing. So suppose I want to create a final price for this particular each particular item, and the quantity is specified, unit price is specified, and discount is specified. Now if I want to calculate the final price, what I have to do, I have to subtract the discount percentage from the final total value, and that will leave us with final price. So the formula for that will be, I can easily do it like this: 5, I can put bracket, I can do 5 multiplied by 10.16 and then minus 5 into 10.16 multiplied by 0.05. So if I do it like this, it will give me the final value. But the problem is that since I have entered the values here, if I want to copy it over here, it will not do the justification with the other values. But I have to do it again and again for all the data values, which will be very tedious. But if I use referencing, then my work will be very easy. So I put equal, I put a bracket, and I say multiply quantity with unit price, and then subtract this total, which is quantity multiplied by unit price multiplied by the discount percentage. So this particular second bracket will give you the amount which needs to be discounted from the final total. So the final total is first bracket and the discount value is in the second bracket. Once I subtract the discount from the initial value, it will leave us with the final value. Now the good thing about is this: it has references. So when I drag this formula over there, it automatically changes the reference. You can see B2 has changed to B3, C3 has to change to C4, D4 has changed to D5. So actually in each row when I am going down, it is taking the next reference and it is adjusting my formula and giving me accurate results. This is the power of referencing. So when we do referencing like this, where from moving from one place to another, my referencing value B3, C3 changes to B4, C4. If this kind of thing happens, this is called as relative referencing. Fine. So in this particular formula, all of my values, all of my references changes once I move from one particular reference box to the other box. So this kind of referencing which I am doing here is called as relative referencing. Fine. Let's understand the other option, that is called as absolute referencing. Fine. Suppose since here the discount values are same, so this particular relative referencing is very useful when discount values are different for each product. Then it will automatically source the discount value from the reference and will accordingly change the thing. Now in this particular case, since the discount value is same, I can reduce the size of my table by putting the discount value over here. I say my discount value is 0.05 and I can simply change my formula over here. So let's do it. Now I have a common formula. Suppose this is not shown in my table, but I have a common discount for everything. Now what would be my formula? I will go here, I will say multiply quantity by unit price, then subtract this multiplication and this discount value. Fine. And I press enter. Again the answer is same, but the problem is once I drag this formula, you can see it is changing things. So here the value is only at H2. Once I move, it is going to H3, it is going to H4, it is going to H5. And if you see, since there are no values at H3, H4, H5, I don't think it is actually making any sense, because the value here is not available. So it is only multiplying B3 by C3. Fine. So in that case, if you see what it is doing, it is multiplying 8 with this and this formula has nothing. But once for now what we have to do, since this particular thing needs to be constant, when I put H2 and I put dollars over here, we can put dollar by using F4 function. So I put F4 function F4. You in your computer you can press directly F4 or using with function F4, that depends on the type of keyboard you have. So once you press F4 or function F4, it puts dollars over here, and once the dollar is put over here, this thing becomes constant. Now see what happens. Now see the values have changed. Now when I am going from this particular cell to this particular cell, my reference is B2 is changing to B3, C2 is changing to C3, but H2 is remaining constant because my discount thing is constant and it is only written in H2 box, so I cannot change H2 in any of my formula. Now when I am dragging this, it is using the same correct formula and it is applying discount properly. So when I am doing this dollar thing, this is called as absolute referencing. This actually shows that I do not want to change my reference value. If the value changes in any formula, you keep that particular reference constant. So when I make a particular reference fixed, it is called as absolute referencing. So absolute referencing is done by the help of putting dollars. So here $H, $2. It simply means H is constant and 2 is constant. Let me show you what actually happens. If I press F4 again, now it has shifted to H, $2. That means Next time if I move down, it will go from G dollar to E dollar to. So it will change from H to I to J, but number 2 row is not going to change. Once I press F4 again, now dollar has shifted to H. Now H will be constant, H column will be constant, but row will change. So it will change from H2 to H3 to H4 to H5. But once I put dollar at both sides, it means stick to the particular H column and second row. So the value which is at the H column and second row is constant, and you have to keep that value constant for all the formulas. So this is called as absolute referencing. Now what is mixed referencing? So mixed referencing is exactly what I have told you right now. If I put dollar $H2, so dollar $H2 is a mixed referencing. It is saying that you keep your column constant but your rows can change. Fine. So if I do it like this, if I source value like this C3, but I say keep C constant and change 3. So now see what happens. So it is keeping C unit constant, but the values of all third, so this is C3, this is C4, C5, so it is not changing the value of this. So if I copy it over here also, so here you can see the value reference is, here again the value reference is C3, but if I drag it down, so it is saying you keep your column C constant and you keep your rows changing. Similarly, if I put it over here like this and I make 3 constant, now see what happens. So it is taking, you go for column A and you stick to column to row number 3. Now if I drag it down, what will happen? So it is taking only the values from column A third row. It is not changing. So you can see it is A3, 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 A3. So the column is same. Similarly, you can go from here to here also. So if you go from here, so it is only sourcing value. It is only sourcing value from here. So here it is A, here it is B, here it is C, but the number 3 is constant. Here again, here it is B, number 3, B, number 3. So you can see, so the thing where you put your dollar is becoming constant while the other thing is dynamic. So if we use this type of referencing where one thing is constant and one thing is dynamic, it is called as mixed referencing. So we can use a combination of mixed or absolute or relative referencing to formulate formulas and do wonders with Excel. So this is referencing, absolute, mixed and relative referencing. Thank you.